Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Hey loves, how's it going? It's just me today. So hopefully that's exciting for you. We did solo episodes a little bit earlier in the summer, and we got some great feedback from you guys. So we'll be tossing these in every once in a while, especially when it applies to what's kind of timely right now. And that is that this is those last few months of a year, and they can feel they can feel a little worrying, right? Like it starts to get really busy. I know for me, it's very busy. So at the time I'm recording this, we are getting ready for an agency mini. By the time you hear this, we probably have already finished it. But I'm also, before that, going to Nashville, coming back doing mini, then going to Chicago, coming back doing something else, then going to Cambodia. Oh, I forgot there's new people at my house in between all of that for a business retreat. And then it's Thanksgiving. And all of a sudden it's Thanksgiving. And so this is the time of the year that can feel really overwhelming. And there's a couple things I want to actually remind you of. You get to do this. You get to do this. And if you are struggling, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I really want you to reframe a little bit and just go, I get to do this. Now, if you don't want to do what you're doing, that is something to write down. So something I think is really cool about how we feel about things is that they're signs that you don't want to be doing the thing, or you don't want to be doing the thing with that person or at that time. And the more you pay attention to these things, the more you make notes, the more you can make conscious decisions. So for example, I actually love to travel. I love to go to Cambodia. There are so many things I love to do about it. So I am this busy season, at no point am I going, oh my God, I have to do all this stuff. I get to do all this stuff. And I actually plan for all these things to happen when they're happening, because this is kind of the time of the year that I really like to do all of that. I like to pack it in. I like to make sure that we see all the faces of the people that we love. I really do like to do all of those things. Now, in the summertime, when I want to be in chill vibes, I am not planning those things. I'm not doing them. In fact, when we did do them this summer, just as a trial, my body was like, why are you doing this? It's summertime, it's summer vibes. So what is cool about journaling or even just documenting or taking note somewhere about how you feel in your body about different things is it can give you signs about what to say yes to and no to in the future. And so there have been people who've been requesting a retreat for us to do in the summertime, and we're not doing that. Now, there are a couple reasons I can say I don't do that, and they're very valid, that the weather in Cambodia is not exactly ideal for doing a retreat. Not only is it hot, but there's monsoons and we can't control them, and it's crazy rain, and I don't want people to fly all the way out there. And then we can't see the temples because the rain is insane, right? So those are some reasons. And the other big reasons, I don't want to. I want to use my summers to reflect on the beginning of the year, to plan for the fall of the year, to make sure we're all set up, to rest, to relax, to visit with friends as they come into town. So, and those are all things I learned over the last couple of years of testing things. So it's okay that you didn't know about the things that you said yes to, that you didn't maybe like the time that they were or the location that they were until you did them. That's okay. You don't have to be a psychic. Most of us are not. And in fact, some people who aren't. So I think it's just really important to be kind to yourself and acknowledge when things feel really good. Okay, what about that feels really good? What is it the people that you're with? Is it the time that it was? Is it how it was planned out? What about that feels really good, so that you can use those as green lights and green signals to say yes to in the future? What about it didn't you like, so you can use those red flags? And so every time I get asked to speak, every time we plan a thing, we get to look back at what didn't work before, what we liked about it, what people liked about it, and then make decisions going on, which is why perfect is boring, which is why that waiting until something's perfect is the wrong thing to do. I wouldn't know 90% of this information until I had gone in there, done a retreat in August, done different things at different times of the year, said yes to programs that were unorganized, disorganized, that kind of a thing. So I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know what is actually important to me about organization and what isn't had I not experienced it and then felt it in my body. And so all of this is to say, if you had a summer, or for my Southern Hemisphere people, had a winter where there was things that you loved and things that you didn't love, pay attention to what those things are, and then use those things for moving forward. Okay. So that is kind of how, it's not kind of, it is exactly how I try to say yes and no to things and plan things on our calendar. And it's just really important to me. The other way is just really listening to you guys. So those of you who fill out the surveys at beitpod.com/tellme, thank you. Those are really great. When you interact with us in any of our other programs, agency, OPC, we do a lot of surveys. We love surveys. They really help us figure out how we could be better at things, what things actually matter to you. It can be really easy, ladies, and I say ladies, I know there's a few good men listening. Hello, but it can be really easy to think we need to add more, do more, give more. And truthfully, sometimes that can be overwhelming, right? That can be really overwhelming for some people. We'd asked in our survey, like, would you like more episodes? And some people said yes. And a lot of people said, it's enough. And I'm like, great, I'm not going to do dailies if you don't want that. Now, if you all want that, then let me know. But we truly don't, I don't want to overwhelm you without your request and also your acknowledgement that that's what you want, right? So this is really great, whether you're in business or not. And maybe you're like, I'm not in business. You can survey the people around you. You can ask questions. You can get feedback from people, and even about yourself. You can even say, hey, I'm actually trying to figure out what I want to do for the end of the year. Can you think of a time this summer where you noticed that I was a little bit more frantic, frenetic, exhausted? And can you remember a time this summer that I was excited, jubilated, joyful, feeling at ease? People around you who spend time with you will know. They'll know, they'll remember, and that can be really helpful. Okay. So I say all this because in the last solo episode, I told you I was being it till I see it in right now. And I really have been working on that. And I noticed that there's this old story I love to tell myself, which is that I'm too busy. Maybe you know that one. Maybe you know that story. And sometimes in order to feel like I am in control of things that are uncontrollable, I will do more. So then they're not easy. And now I'm getting stressed out. And so that doesn't work. So I've been really working on some mantras and daily meditations. I've actually changed my morning routine a ton, and I'm still tweaking it as we speak. And for someone who loves routine, that can be overwhelming and also can be really exciting. It's really all how you reframe it. So one of the things that I am trying to do is work on my sleep. I've actually always had a struggle with sleep situations and stress. So I am someone who, just because of the childhood that I had, and it wasn't bad. I'll just say, it wasn't bad. It's just that as an oldest child of little kids, and we're all born around the same time, I definitely took on a lot of stress around me and tried to fix a lot of things and I was a doer. I'm a doer. And I pride myself on that. Actually, it's one of my strengths I'm really good at, but a strength can be a weakness if you don't know when to use it and when not to use it. Right. So in these last couple of months, I've been really looking at my morning routine and seeing where parts of it can be switched into the afternoon because I do work from home, and what I could add to my morning that would allow me to set myself up to be in the most abundant, receiving, easeful mode, strength-based mode, just totally in tune. Like, I really want the mornings to feel less like, oh my God, I have all these things to do, and more like, okay, I get to do these things, kind of like how I started this episode. And that's something I share with you because something I have always struggled with. Like, I'm a very positive person, like bright side up kind of person, but equally can get a little down about things, especially when things are out of my control. So then I start to do more. And then what ends up happening is I'm not in receiving mode. I'm not actually noticing opportunities around me, and I'm too busy to be the person I want to be for those I love. So that is not prioritization of self. That is not putting myself first. That is not taking messy action. That is trying to be perfect in some other way. And so the last couple of months, I've really been doing that. And I started off with adding in red light therapy to that routine. I also stopped doing my morning Instagram talks to you guys. It's not because I don't love doing them. I just was like, I really want to take in these surroundings more. I really want to be at ease more. I don't actually want to have to work right now, right? So that doesn't mean I won't do them anymore. It just means I need to do them later in my morning. And I'm working on putting them back in. So as I be it till I see it, what I am doing is catching myself when I say I'm too busy and doing what I would think a non-busy person who is confident and positive and abundant and supportive of their business and their team and their dreams would do. So it's the whole premise of the Be It Till You See It podcast, acting as if before you're ready, right? So if I think what a woman who runs a massive company, who takes care of herself, what does she do? How is her morning routine? What is that set up? So I did a lot of research on things you can do to make your body sleep better. As I mentioned, I'm working on my sleep. So your sleep for the night starts in the morning before, and we can thank Huberman for his podcast on that. And there's a bunch of other studies on that, but really, truly, like I do already wake up pretty early. So I do get the morning light of the day. And so I was like, okay, well, that's helping my sleep out. So what else can help my sleep out? So I've been working on doing those things. So I've been changing my morning routine up to resemble what I imagine a woman who runs a company who prioritizes herself first would do in the morning. And that required some changes in my morning because I was really pushing a lot of things into my morning routine and feeling the sense of urgency that they had to get done, and they weren't of ease. And of course, that's what we're trying to be until we see is easefulness in running this business. And so I have in the last few weeks shifted that morning routine. So my workouts, some of them happen a little later. Sometimes they happen in the same time. So every day is actually now different, which is weird for me, but I'm finding a lot of fun in that and flow in that and a little bit of like rebelliousness that I don't always let myself have in that. So that's super cool. I will, when we get to my favorite things, list off a lot of the things that I'm doing in the morning that you can borrow. We've got affiliate links or links below that you can enjoy. So as I be it till I see it in that, what it is challenging me on is watching my responses to things, because no longer do the old responses, the quick responses apply. I actually need to take a step back. And so when I say, oh, I don't have time, I actually go right now. When does it need to be done? And then I look and see when I can get it done. And it's kind of amazing. I used to also think I didn't have time to meditate every day. Wrong. I have since figured that out that I can. So watching the stories I tell myself that are keeping me from being it till I see it is something that I am in constant practice with. And I wonder if I always will be. I don't know. Jury's out. I'll keep you posted. So hopefully that is helpful for you. Just like seeing like, I'm not perfect. We're still working on it. Every day is kind of a challenge based on like the old way of thinking, the stories I told myself that made me feel safe and made me feel secure, that made me, not go off and do some crazy things. And now those things are actually holding me back in the growth of what I'm trying to do. And like, I am on a mission. More Bodies doing Pilates. And I cannot do that if I think I have time, because I need to be able to create time so I can tell you how to create time. Right. So, okay. Now, some of you always ask us like, what are some books I'm reading right now? And I am going to let you know, since I talked to Coach Lee, I have been doing my E-squared book. I'm not doing it as quickly as I did it the first time. I'm kind of stopping at different chapters and waiting until I want to do the experiment before I go on to the next chapter. So and it's actually going really cool. And it's actually a really good reminder. There are some things that she wrote in there that I want to just like paint on my walls. So E-Squared by Pam Grout, she's still on the list to get on the pod. So if you know her, hook a sister up. Okay. Then I had some girls out. If you remember, Brad and I were talking about, I had some girls come to visit that I kind of met through friends of friends, and we all like, let's do a friends weekend. And I highly recommend you do that. I know that can sound really scary and it can be even expensive sounding. The truth is you can make it whatever it needs to be, but shared experiences really do make a difference in how you feel, and who you surround yourself with makes a difference. We have had multiple guests come on, and we have another guest coming up who is going to tell you that it really does make a difference who you invite into your energy, who you invite into your circle, and how much time you spend around them. And so it might require some boundaries. So on that girls weekend, they mentioned Florence Shaw Scholar Shine. Hold on. Let's just pull up her book because I just finished it. It's actually really old. Okay. So I listened to it on Audible and I'm going to be super, oh, Florence Scovel Shinn. There it is. So my autocorrect got that weird. So I got the complete works on Audible. I don't even think it charged me a credit. And somebody reads it. The words that she uses are like Vitrola. And I just imagine people walking around like the old New York of like the 1890s as I'm reading it, but the stuff still makes sense. And if it does mention God a lot, so you can insert your own word for that there. And she does an occasional spots, but I listened to it on a dog walk because I was like, I just need to be around as much positivity as I can. And the first book I will say was the best one of all of them. A great reminder of being very like, actually knowing what you need more of and asking for that. And then being aware of that. We've talked about that with Dr. Philippe Dion, where it's like your eyes and ears are seeing what your brain is looking for. So if you're very conscious of what it is that you're looking for, you will then look for evidence for that. And there's some really cool stories in that first book. So I really recommend it. The rest of them, it was good. I think the first one is a good place to stop. I have Burnout by Emily and Amelia Nagasaki on my Audible that I'm going to next. It's actually part of the book club that we have for agency, and I'm really excited about it. I heard them on Brene Brown, and I've had it on my list for a long time. It is a long book, so I've just been working my way to it. And then I just bought The Source that we talked about in Steph Caldwell's episode. There's actually a couple books called The Source. So if you actually look back at Steph's episode, we'll put the link in the show notes. There's a specific The Source that we want. But again, it just goes into this. There's science around manifestation. And when you can't just do all the things, like we're telling ourselves a lie if we think that we can control all the parts that are going to make anything happen. There are a lot of things. There's always a lot of things going on. In fact, like there's stuff in your personal life that's going on, great and not so great. There's stuff in your professional life that's going on, great and not so great. There's stuff in your health that's going on, great and not so great, right? It is like a disservice, an illusion. If you think you can actually control all of those things, you can't. So you can do what you can do. And then the next thing you have to do is like, think like Hazel Ortega, have some miracle goals around it, be really specific, and then start looking for evidence for it to be true. So I'm like big on those books. I really think that they're going to help me as I close out this year. As I plan for what we're going to do in 2023, it has been an interesting 2022 and just doing a lot of things, testing things, changing things. And so I am trying to spend a lot of time on what do I really want? What are we doing all this for? How do we want to be when we're doing that? That's what I'm working on. So that's what those books are going to, you'll see there's a theme there. As always, you can ask us any questions. You can DM the pod on Instagram and ask us any questions that you have around business, health, personal goals, and Brad and I will answer them on the recaps, and we want your questions. So please do DM us. Okay, now to my favorite things. Okay, so Brad calls me a total consumer. It's true. I am. I really am. And I have a lot of fun, trying out new things. I don't do a ton of research, but I will oftentimes like want something, look it up. I say yes to all the cookies because I'm like, yes, track me down, ratio this to my face. Let me know when you're having some Labor Day sale. I'm a big fan of cookies, and you guys, you can all use cookies and ads to like help you see the things you want to see. So you can hate them, but like it's how small businesses make money, and also big businesses too. But the other thing is like, you can actually say, yeah, actually, I would love it if you showed me more of this. You just click on the ad and then they'll make sure you see that more often. So anyways, a couple of these things I'm going to talk to you about are things that have been on my list for a while. So first thing, we talked about my red light therapy before. I really love the one that I have. I have it on, I actually bought like a tray for it that's on wheels. It's like a little stand on wheels so that I can wheel it in front of my meditation chair, and then I can wheel it back into the closet. So I'm super excited about that. First, I had it just like out on a thing and I had to move it back. And you know what, let's just be really honest, people, if it's hard, we're not going to do it. Right. So I had to go buy a tray on wheels to make it a little easier, but it is one of the best purchases I've made to go along with that. And there is a ton of studies on red light therapy for people, especially in the morning. And so I'm a big fan of that. And I will say that I have sat in front of it even in the evening when I haven't been feeling as my positive self, and I feel better when I'm done being there. So it's great. I'll read a book on that. Well, like I'll read a book on my meditation chair in front of the lamp. I'll do breath work in front of the lamp. I read some emails the other day in front of the lamp. Like that's where, going back to my morning routine, changing on different days, the red light is either part of my meditation or it's just part of my morning work day so that I can still get it in, which is actually super, super cool. Then to go along with this, my chiropractor in LA, he had both this red light and something called a PEMF mat. And I put the link, it's my actual affiliate link below. So it should get you directly to the mat and also some fun little goodies that go along with it. And I've been wanting this mat for about 6 months. Every time we go, I'd lay on it for like an hour. It's hard to explain how amazing it makes me feel, but it really does make me feel great. And so I've been saving it, letting it show up in my ads all the time. And we finally got one and I've used it every day since. And this is where I go back to that story. I told myself I'm too busy. Well, guess what, folks? I wasn't too busy to find an hour each day to lay on it. Since I've got it. So it's kind of crazy. I think when you say you're too busy, you either don't want to do the thing or you're avoiding doing the thing. And if you're avoiding doing the thing, you're either avoiding it because there's something that scares you about it, or you just don't want to do it. So let that be a testament, because I bet you the things that you really want to do, you make time for, right? So anyways, that link is below. I'm obsessed with it. Last time I did a solo episode, I told you about my favorite water bottle. I'm still obsessed with it. In fact, I have since had a couple of different facials. I have had seen a doctor and my holistic doctor, and like at no point has anyone said I'm dehydrated. I look dehydrated. Everything is normal. Everything is great. And I'm super just stoked about this water bottle. Like it's one of my favorite things in life. So, that link, we actually have the affiliate link now and it's below, and a bunch of my friends have already bought theirs. I literally almost bought myself another one, and I decided I have to hold back until it's like actually the color I want. So we're patiently waiting. Also, I finally got myself a Contrology Wunda chair. So, as you know, if you're in the Pilates world, listen to this. I'm a big fan of the Contrology equipment from my studies with Jay Grimes. Like I just really love the way the old equipment was built. And even classical equipment today is not built the same way it was before. And so Contrology's done a wonderful job really doing a lot of research, going back and seeing those old pieces of equipment, using the old springs to make these new springs. And it's incredible. It's very different. We actually got it because we're making the flashcard deck for the chairs now. So if you need an affiliate link to anything by Balanced Body, you can always hit us up. Those exist in all of our YouTube tutorials. But also, the Contrology equipment is built by Balanced Body, and I have an affiliate link for that. But the Contrology chair is new. It came out the same time as a ladder barrel, and I'm sure I'll end up with that. But I really wanted the chair now because we're doing the decks now. And I got it in a really cool blue. I know you've seen my chair. It's hot pink. That color doesn't exist anymore. So I got a hot blue to go with it. I'm just really excited. It's like Barbie pink and Barbie blue, like chairs. And I think I'm going to take pictures with them, like going on a date together. Okay. Last couple of my favorite things, Nobosu hand weights. So, I met this woman at Momentum Fest, and I really liked the way that her hand weights felt in my hands, like the texture she put in. There's a bunch of science behind it. And as you know, when you do Pilates, you only want 1 to 2 pound hand weights, unless you're my bigger guys. And of course I'll let you up to 5, but nothing more than that, because it gets really distal and I don't want you to be in your shoulders. Prefer 3 actually for you. But anyways, these hand weights are great. They're super fun. You can use them for anything, not just Pilates. And she's got a bunch of other good stuff for waking up your feet and things like that. So check that out. And then finally, for my business folks who are thinking that they're just too busy and like, where does she find the time? Here, I'm going to tell you a little secret. In our household and in our business, we Loom everything. Oh, actually, I'm going to just be really honest. I don't log into the Loom account as much as everyone else does. I'll use Zoom, but Loom is the best. And so you can actually use my affiliate link below. And what it allows you to do is anything that you're already repeating in your life that you do, that you know you want to someday hand off. So life or work, you can Loom. So for example, let's say I don't want to schedule my newsletters anymore. So the next time I go to schedule one, I'm actually going to log into Loom. So you'll use my link below to get your account. You'll log in, and then you'll literally just talk to yourself, scheduling your next newsletter. And it will record your screen, it will record your clicks, it will record your voice. And you just label it, put it in your Dropbox folder. And then when you do hire someone, you can go, here's how you do that. Go take a look at it. Let me know if you have any questions. And hopefully they're able to do it. So you have to train them. It's all done. So those are my favorite things. Some of them are, well, most of them are personal health related. Then there is some Pilates related, and then the business one related. And I hope that these are helpful for you. Let me know how you like this episode. If it's good for you to hear like my thought process. I'm a total verbal processor, as you can tell. And then what I'm reading and how that helps me be it till I see it. And then what I'm using so I can support myself. Y'all, it takes a village. Okay. It really, really does. I do understand that some of the things I'm talking about do come at a cost. And I understand that. So if right now money is not something you have access to support who you want to be in this world, can you please take a note out of Rachel Rogers' book, We Shall Be Millionaires? We've talked about this on the podcast before, and use the word and instead of, but I don't have any money, and I don't have any money. And then I really do want you to then listen to that Florence Scovel Shin book, which I'm pretty sure is free on Audible, and hear how like you can actually just be very specific what you want. And then your eyes and ears are going to see an opportunity. Maybe one of these things I've listed that I say I love ends up at your neighbor's like garage sale. Maybe it ends up on a Facebook sale. Maybe someone's just like, hey, I'm moving. I can't take this with me. Right? Like you'd be surprised what can come to you when you're in receiving mode and when you're aware of what you want. And I hope that these podcasts really help bring that to light and give you something to think about in your life, because you can have everything you want. You can. You just have to know you want it, and then also believe you deserve it, which you do. You don't have to have an excuse for that. You don't have to reason for that. You don't have to explain it to anybody, including me. I love you all so much. It is so fun to record these podcasts for you. These solo ones are unique and new for me, so I really do hope that they're helpful. And please, if you have feedback, if you have questions, if there is guests you want to hear, or if you want more solo episodes, then go to beitpod.com/tellme. And then we can get you, you can give us that information, and then we can continue to fine tune everything to help all of you be it till you see it. That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review, and follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day. Be It Till You See It is a production of As the Crows Fly Media.
It's written, produced, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell. Our associate producer is Amanda Fraterelli.
Kevin Perez at Disenyo handles all of our audio editing.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to our designer Jairo Mandal for creating all of our visuals, which you can't see because this is a podcast, and our digital producer Jay Perdoso for editing all the video each week so you can.
And to Angelina Herrico for transcribing each of our episodes so you can find them on our website. And finally, to Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time.